Pragmatics might be a new field of linguistics, but pragmatics has always been there since the beginning of human civilization, because the language users have always been speaking their minds out through pragmatic use of language. We cannot imagine human communication sans pragmatics, because in absence of it, we shall all turn into machines and cease to be a special creation of the Almighty God, bestowed with sensitivities and sensibilities. Pragmatics might be a new field of linguistics, yes, because it isn't a very old field of study. It's a new field of study in the sense that we started investigating this field of study only since 1970s. So as far as a formal field of study is concerned, then we may call pragmatics to be a new field of linguistics. But pragmatics has always been there since the beginning of human civilization, because the language users have always been speaking their minds out through pragmatic use of language. Like we had, since the beginning of the earth, since the formation of the earth, as I said earlier, we have been using language. Human beings have been using language. Who was the first man? Adam was the first man. Adam was the first man. Now, and who was the first woman? Eve was the first woman. The two of them communicated with each other. And God asked them not to eat fruit from the tree of knowledge. Now, the tree of knowledge again is very symbolic. Once you eat the fruit from there, then what will happen? You will indulge in disobedience, the sin. So men have been using language since the beginning, and they were not using the language just literally. It was not simply, like words, just word, just the literal words. The suggested meaning, the contextual meaning, the deeper meaning has always been important with them. So that is why, since the beginning of human civilization, because the language users have always been speaking their minds out, they have been expressing themselves, they have been giving voice to their thoughts, to their inner selves through language, through pragmatic use of language. We cannot imagine human communication sans pragmatics. We cannot imagine human communication without pragmatics. Communication, cannot take place without pragmatics. If there is no pragmatics, there cannot be proper or meaningful human communication. There can be only mechanic human communication, but not the meaningful human communication, where you have warmth, where you have love. So we cannot imagine human communication sans pragmatics, without pragmatics, because in absence of it, in absence of pragmatics, that means we shall all turn into machines. We shall all turn into machines. We shall all turn into robots and cease to be special creation of the Almighty God, bestowed with sensitivities and sensibilities. We are the special creation of God, the Almighty God. Why? Because He has bestowed us with sensitivities, with sensibilities, with feelings, with emotions, okay, with warmth, with love. We have such lively emotions. We share beautiful emotions with one another, and that's why we understand one another so well. We have so many emotions, right? So we are the most wonderful creation of God. Now animals cannot communicate like us. Plants cannot communicate like us the way we do. No creation of God can communicate like the human beings do. So we are the most special communication of God. Isn't that? The mystery, morality, and miracle plays are perfused with pragmatics. They were the first of their kinds. The mystery, morality, and miracle plays are perfused with pragmatics. The satires and allegorical writings are all full of pragmatics. The dramatic irony is used profusely by Shakespeare in his romantic comedies like Twelfth Night and As You Like It are also instances of pragmatics, because in them hidden meaning is more important than the literal meaning. Even Jane Austen's novels are full of different kinds of ironies, and they can be called the soul of her novels because they make her novels interesting and entertaining. The 7 deadly sins and the 7 divine virtues would lose their significance without pragmatics. Pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writings. No pragmatic means no holy scriptures. No pragmatic means no literature. No pragmatic means no communication. No pragmatic means no humanity. And all robots. The mystery, morality, and miracle plays are perfused with pragmatics. We have read Dr. Foster's, we have read about 7 deadly sins, we have read about 7 virtues, divine virtues. So these mystery plays or morality plays, they were the first of their kinds. They're all full of pragmatics. They are all full of wisdom, worldly wisdom. And you know how is that expressed? It is expressed through the deeper meaning. The literal meaning in them is not that important. The semantic arrangement of S plus V plus O is not that important. What is important? The hidden meaning is important. The suggested meaning is important. Otherwise, you know, we would read a play just once and throw it away. Why? Because it won't carry any meaning to us, any deeper meaning. It doesn't make us a better person, a better human being. It makes a better human being. It makes a good reading. We call it a classic. You know, a work becomes a classic only when it has a deeper meaning. If a work doesn't have a classic, if a work doesn't have a deeper meaning, then we do not call it a classic. It doesn't last long. People forget it. They throw it in the bin. It's a trash. The satires were written they were written in the Augustan age. They were written in the classical age also. In like Greeks and Romans, they also wrote. But we are talking about the satires that were written in the new classical age, the Restoration age. The dramatic satires and allegorical writings, say of Jonathan Swift, for example, you have read Tale of a Tub, or say Modest Proposal, or say Gulliver's Travels. They are full of pragmatics because they are full of symbols, they are full of signs, so they are full of pragmatics. If you do away pragmatics from them, they will lose their meaning. They will lose their meaning. They will be just, you know, black and white letters. That's all. They won't be meaningful. They won't be powerful. They won't move us. They won't touch us. They touch us. They move us. Why? Because they have pragmatics in them. They're full of them. They're perfused with them. The dramatic ironies used profusely by Shakespeare in his romantic comedies like Twelfth Night and As You Like It are also instances of pragmatics, because in them hidden meaning is more important than the literal meaning. We have see different kinds of ironies in Shakespeare's romantic comedies. Twelfth Night, while Viola is speaking to the Duke, or say Duke is talking to Olivia, or when the three of them, the trio, Olivia, Viola, and Duke, are talking, like, you know, we have funny situations. These dramatic ironies, they create funny situations, and you know, even the speaker sometimes doesn't know what is he saying in the import of his meaning, whereas the audience understand, or the characters on stage understand. So you have different kinds of dramatic ironies in Shakespeare, and that's what makes his comedies interesting. Twelfth Night and As You Like It. They're full of pragmatics. They're full of hidden meaning. That's a suggested meaning. The meaning which, you know, some of them understand and the others do not understand. Sometimes the characters themselves do not understand the hidden meaning, and sometimes when the two are talking, the third person doesn't understand, and sometimes something is said to the listener, but listener won't understand it instantly, but he would understand it at a later stage. So they are full of pragmatics. The literal meaning is not important, but the suggested meaning, the hidden meaning, is important in them. Even Jane Austen's novels, Jane Austen also, you have read the novels by Jane Austen, you have read Emma, you have read Pride and Prejudice, you have read Sense and Sensibilities. So many novels you have read by Jane Austen. They are all full of different kinds of ironies. In fact, irony is a forte of Jane Austen. She uses irony this in a beautiful way. Her novels are full of them, full of ironies. Even Jane Austen's novels are full of different kinds of ironies, and they can be called the soul of a novel. Yeah, irony can be called the soul of a novel because ironies make her novels interesting and entertaining. If you take out ironies from the novels of Jane Austen, then they would become very uninteresting, very dull. They will make a very dull reading. They make an entertaining reading only because of ironies. Like Emma, for example, you have read Emma. Like Emma wouldn't like Mr. Knightley, and like he would like Mr. Knightley to marry somebody else, her friend, but later on she herself marries him. So this is very ironical. That novel Emma is full of ironies. The 7 deadly sins, yes, the 7 deadly sins and 7 divine virtues would lose their significance without pragmatics. They all have symbolic meanings. Lust, gluttony, or say hubris, sloth. All these, they all have symbolic meaning. And they will lose their significance if there is no deeper meaning in them, if there is no hidden meaning in them. The 7 deadly sins and the 7 divine virtues would lose their significance without pragmatics. Certainly they would. Pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writings. Yes, pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writings, because if there are no symbols, there is no pragmatics. You have symbols, that's why you have pragmatics. The pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writings. Symbolic writings, like you have read J.H. Lawrence's novels. They are full of symbolic details. For example, Women in Love. Women in Love is there in your syllabus also, and you have read it. Women in Love, or say The Rainbow, for example. Now you have Gudrun Ursula relationship, or Gerald Gudrun relationship. There you have symbolism. So pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writing. No pragmatics, no holy scriptures. And now, if you as far as these holy scriptures are concerned, I mean the Bible, the Holy Quran, say the Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. These scriptures, they are full of pragmatics. They are full of deeper meaning. If you simply go through the literal meaning, then they wouldn't be real epics for you, real meaningful writings for you. They carry a meaning, and they continue to move you since the time they were written. They continue to move the readers. Why? Because they have a deeper meaning. So no pragmatics means no holy scriptures. Holy scriptures will be dull, meaningless. They won't move the people who have faith in them. No pragmatics means no literature. Now literature, what's the soul of literature? Pragmatics is the soul of literature. We enjoy literature because of deeper meaning. because of the suggested meaning we enjoy it. And it is said, like to express is to express is to destroy, and to suggest is to create. To express is to, like, if you express something, you destroy a thing. But when you suggest it, means when you say something beyond words, okay, when you suggest, then you create. To express is to destroy, and to express is to create. No pragmatics means no literature. No pragmatics means no communication. Yeah, communication, we cannot communicate. We can communicate only literally, and if we are communicating with only literally, then we'll be communicating like machines. Isn't it so? We'll be communicating like machines. There will be no warmth, no feelings in them. Our communication is important. Why? Because we have meaning in them. We have feelings in them. And without feelings, without meaning, communication is meaningless. No pragmatics means no humanity. And all robots. Yes, no pragmatics means no humanity. Pragmatics is the bread and butter of humanity. It's the soul of humanity. It's the backbone of humanity. And language is the most fascinating thing God has given to us. God has given us the power of speech, and we are very thankful to the Almighty God for giving us the power of speech. But power of speech is important only when it has pragmatics in it. When language has warmth in it, when language has love in it, when language has feelings in it. If there are no feelings, no warmth, no love, no emotions, no sensibilities, then language will be very mechanical. No pragmatics means no humanity. And all robots, we will cease to be human beings if there is no pragmatics in our conversation. If there is no suggested meaning in our conversation, we shall all turn into robots. Robots which do the work but only mechanically. So human beings will cease to be human beings if there is no pragmatics in their communication. If, God forbid, pragmatics, the knowledge of pragmatics is taken away from them, they will all turn into robots. God forbid. So this is all very important. You may even underline the last part. Pragmatics is the soul of symbolic writings. No pragmatics means no holy scriptures. No pragmatics means no literature. No pragmatics means no communication. No pragmatics means no humanity and all robots. So I hope now you understand what pragmatics is. We have discussed the topic in detail. And, although we have discussed all the subfields of linguistics, but I think we have discussed this field of linguistics, the last one, the pragmatics, in quite detail, in sufficient detail, so that we can have a clear knowledge of this concept of linguistics, because this is gaining currency, and there are researches going on in this field of linguistics. So I hope the topic is clear to you. So here we complete the subfields of linguistics, the branches of linguistics, and under the subfields of linguistics we have discussed the 6 major subfields of linguistics. Prior to that we discussed the definition, nature and scope of linguistics, and after that we started discussing subfields of linguistics. Under subfields of linguistics we began with phonetics, phonology, and then we discussed morphology, syntax, semantics, and this was the last subfield that we took up, pragmatics. So here we complete our discussion on the subfields of linguistics. Thank you. Thank you very much.